Hi, welcome to the first episode of Moments with Monica. I'm Monica, and this is a little vlog about a lot of different things: fiber, sewing, crafting, creating, all of that wonderful stuff. But first, a little backstory on me because I was asked to tell you guys about myself. I am here in California, Southern California. I used to be a lot of different things, from second grade teacher to professional chef, caterer, personal trainer, fitness instructor, dance instructor, lots of different things. But throughout my whole life, sewing and knitting and crocheting and crafting has been a big part of it. So first off, I'm married, and me and my husband, we live in a little fixer-upper out in the country here in Southern California, and I tend to sub for the school district before COVID. Before COVID happened, I was subbing quite a bit for the school district in special ed. I'm fluent in American Sign Language as well as in Spanish, and English being my first language. Originally, I was born in Boston and then spent childhood and through high school into college in Texas. Then, as an adult, moved to San Diego, California. So that's a little abbreviated version of some of the things about me. We don't have any children yet. We would still love to have children, whether they're natural, adopted, and all of the above, foster. We want to do all of those wonderful things and experience that here in life. But we do have cats. Right now we have 5 cats, all girls, adopted. One is the mother of the other 3, and the other one is simply an adopted feral cat from when she was a kitten. So there you go. That's our feline family. And that's a little bit about me. Now I'll go into some of the questions that you wanted to know. And I wrote them all down so I wouldn't forget anything. So the first thing that I was asked about was, where did I learn to spin fiber? I actually learned this in Colorado. About 2 years into our marriage, we went to Colorado to visit some friends of my husband. And while we were there, we visited a lot of different yarn stores because I was knitting and crocheting then. Nothing like that it hadn't changed. It was all still the same. But being Colorado, it had tons of yarn stores. And one in particular yarn store that we went to had drop spindles. And the woman there said, "Have I ever used a drop spindle?" And I said, "No, I've never spun any fiber at all. I just buy them from the store, buy them from shops and get them there." And she said, "How would you like to learn?" Next thing you know, she's sitting down and I'm having a one-on-one lesson in how to spin. And I loved it. I loved using my drop spindle, and I only have the one drop spindle. Flash forward to 2020 and COVID happens. I'm not working at the school district because schools are closed. I'm not working at the university teaching. Schools are closed. All of those type of educational facilities were closed. So I've got all this extra time to do things at home. I decided this is a good time to start researching spinning wheels. Why not? I have all this time. I love yarn. I love working with yarn. Why not make some of my own? So I researched a couple of spinning companies, and I kept seeing this advertisement for a small one, for a nano, electric eel. They're tiny. It's only about this big. And they just happened to be having a sale. And I said, well, this is pretty cool. I have the chance to get one. So checked out the sale, asked a lot of different people that I knew that were spinners here in San Diego and other states. Said, what do you know about this company? What are the reports? Do you like it? Do you have any problems? I wanted to know before I invested, sale or not, before I invest my money, I wanted to make sure that it was going to be something that was going to be worthwhile. It turned out to be so. It only took about a month to get here because, like I said, COVID full swing by then, and it was hard to get anything delivered. in a short amount of time. You just had to wait, and you just knew, okay, well, this is just how things are going to be for a little bit. And I waited, and it showed up sooner than later because it was expected 6 weeks, but it only took 4 weeks. So I was really surprised when I received it, and I was so excited, and I opened up the box, and there it was, and it's purple, which, if you don't know, now you're going to know, purple is my favorite color. So I got my little nano, and I started practicing spinning on it, and I had some fiber left over from my trip to Colorado, and it was Angora. I should not have tried Angora first. It was a wonderful attempt, but Angora is super, super soft and just pulled apart like nobody's business. And I was like, I only ruined a little bit of it. I don't know if I can save it now that I know more than I did several months ago about spinning, but it was not a good experience with my Angora. Purple Angora, and I only had a little bit that I used, so I was glad that I didn't use the whole batch. I still have plenty left. And I said, well, Angora might not have been the best choice to start as a brand new, just got your spinning wheel, super excited to try it out. So the next thing I did was wool. I tried wool. I said, okay, well, let's go with wool. I know tons of people are spinning wool. Let's try wool. That seems to be something that should be safe. You have no idea what you're doing. Let's just pretend like you do and see how it works. And I talked to friends of mine, and I'd seen people doing it, but I'd never actually done it with my own two hands, not on a wheel. And I had to learn not to have it too fast, not to have it too slow. It was just quite the experience with the Nano. And I graduated from the Nano, which I still use regularly, to getting a bigger spinning wheel. I got a Polywog from Spinolution, and I like working with that. It is perfect. My friends that are much taller than me, like at least 6 feet, said they had a hard time with it because they're tall. They said, oh, the Polywog is perfect for someone of your size. You're short, you're petite, it'll work for you. And it does. It's perfect for someone my size. I can sit down to it and get it going. So that's where I learned how to spin, and that's what's continuing. And next thing you know, I'm just going and going. I'm spinning, not the Angora yet, because I really don't want to take the chance of messing up. But I'm spinning wool. I'm spinning in Egyptian cotton was one that I've spun recently, and then the silk blends. I love the silk blends. They're so nice. But those were some of the things that I did, and let's go on to the next one. So that pretty much covers how long have I been involved with fiber. That kind of connects to where did I learn how to spin fiber, but how long have I been involved with fiber? I started learning how to crochet first when I was about 6. We were in Texas, and being that I was a kid and we'd go over to visit adults, and it was me and not my sister yet, but she was going to be born pretty soon. My mom would have been pregnant with her at this time. And we'd visit a lot of seniors and older people there in Texas and out in the country. And they, for whatever reason, this one woman, don't even remember her name. I remember vaguely what she looked like. I remember that her furniture was covered with plastic. And we came to her house to visit because it was a regular thing to visit. And it was hot. It was super hot. And I must have been squirrely because I'm very energetic. As a kid, I'm energetic. I'm moving around. I want to do things. And I was well behaved, but I probably was a little squirrely. She, next thing I know, she's like, let me show you how to do this. And then she's sitting me down. She's left-handed and showing me how to crochet. So that's when I first got introduced to crocheting. And not that long after that, within the same year, I was doing knitting too. So I was doing knitting, crocheting. But before that, I was doing embroidery with my mom, as well as just regular hand stitching. So I was doing the hand sewing a lot. I wasn't using a sewing machine or anything yet, but that's how I got started with working with fiber. And then there was a really great question. Do you prefer sewing or knitting, and why? Well, that's the funny part. I love doing them both a lot. If I'm traveling, obviously knitting or crocheting is going to be much easier than taking my sewing machine on a trip somewhere and using that. So I would say that for me, if I have to prefer something, I would say I would do knitting or crocheting first, and then sewing would come in somewhere after that, but very, very close. They're probably just a few points apart from each other. But those would be the order, is that knitting and crocheting are usually neck and neck. I switch back and forth from them all the time. And then sewing would come in next because it's easier to sew when you're at home and harder when you're traveling. But you can take knitting and crocheting wherever you are for the most part and do it. So that's the answer to that question. And then some people wanted to know some of the favorite accounts to follow, some of my favorites. Okay, I'll give you a couple this episode and a couple more the next episode. I would say, as far as really making me feel welcome and encouraged and lots of strong communication, I would go with, not in any particular order, okay, not particular order, but Beautiful Fiber, and then Lazy Livin', Three Waters, and Chameleon Fiber. I picked those four first because those four ladies talk to me a lot. They message me on Instagram, they communicate with me through Etsy. Even Chameleon Fiber, she's always sending me samples. She sends me free samples. And there's nothing better for me than to get something and go, ooh, I want this. I am someone that needs to touch it a lot of times and see it, because I can look at the pictures, but the colors might not be exact. So I may or may not want to purchase it, but 9 times out of 10, you're more guaranteed that I'm going to want to get some more fiber from you when I get those samples, because then I can see it and look at it. But I would say those four that I mentioned, Beautiful Fiber, Lazy Livin', Three Waters, and Chameleon Fiber Company, they're all really strong communicators. They're all very friendly, very outgoing, which is not a requirement or anything, but it's much easier when the person is gently encouraging you to get more of their fiber. And also, their fiber is beautiful. All four completely different, but all beautiful. So those are the four of some of my favorite accounts to follow. And I'm listing those four first because those came to mind as far as the spinning world and the fiber world, as far as the ones that have really been super encouraging, very, like I said, friendly. Their Instagram feed always has something interesting going on, whether it's pictures of their sheep, whether it's pictures of them just spinning, whether it's pictures of them making the bats. Doesn't matter to me. It's always something very interesting, and goes, ooh, I like that color. Oh, I like what she's doing. And if I ask a question, 9 times out of 10, they get back to me that same day. Almost 10 out of 10. There's not a huge time difference because we're all in the States, so it's so much easier to communicate with someone that's here than someone that's overseas, because of the time difference is not bad. It's just, I know that Chameleon Fiber is in Texas, so I'm dealing with that little bit of a difference in time. But other than that, for the most part, when I'm online, they're online, and vice versa, and it's really nice to talk to them. So let's see, I answered where did I learn to spin fiber, some favorite accounts to follow, if I preferred sewing or knitting and why. I explained all of that. And then how long I've been involved with fiber. All of those things have been covered. So there you go. This is my first episode of Moments with Monica, and I hope that you have enjoyed hearing about the things that I'm into, a little bit about me. As we go on, I will, of course, share more and more about my little world here, and you're guaranteed to, at some point, to see one of the cats amble by, because I'm here in my craft room and we share this space, and they're here, it's their home too, and it just makes things very interesting when you're filming, because you just never know which cat's gonna come on by or jump up and want to get some attention. But there you go. So episode 1 of Moments with Monica. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. And until episode 2, I want to thank you for spending this little bit of time with me. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified of episode 2 and so on and so forth. And thank you for watching. Have a great day wherever you are. From my craft room to you, take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.